Hello and welcome back to the Schooner Pod. The Oklahoma Sooners are 8-2 after just an unbelievable 23-21 win at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Jameson, when the Sooners lost to Ole Miss, one of the reasons why that staying so much is because it was hard to imagine a world where OU would go into Bryant-Denny, go into Neyland Stadium, win both of those games on the road against ranked, tough opponents, and here we are, November 16th, and the Sooners have completed that challenge. It is the most fascinating, insane, incredible, two-game stretch I've ever seen. I'm still buzzing right now. We just got back. 13-hour drive back from Alabama. Still just pure adrenaline. But Jameson, thoughts on the win? Oh my God.
It feels really damn good. And the reality of it is we know this team has the pieces, and a lot of things have broken our way the past two games. And that's just sports. That's just sports. There's going to be a lot on this podcast and then other podcasts around where they're going to kind of nitpick some of the things, parts of the game. But in reality, things are going to go your way. Things aren't going to go your way. Whenever more things go your way, a lot of the times you win football games. And that's what it's been on the road these past two games versus really damn good opponents.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is things have to break the right way. Like you said, that's sports. And, I don't think you can apologize for, the 3 turnovers that you got again against one of the best teams in turnover differential in the SEC, in the country. And ultimately, it's one of those things where you look at it, and of course, the offense could have played better. You could nitpick it to hell, but this is Alabama, and if you could get a win in Bryant-Denny Stadium, something I believe Oklahoma became the 7th team, and since Nick Saban's second year to win in that stadium, you take the money and run. That is just truly unreal.
Mm-hmm. And I think really when you talk about 3 turnovers and how exceptional that was for Alabama, really there could have been 6 opportunities for turnovers in this game if you really look at it, because we had the Kobe McKenzie. Oh my God, that made me so mad whenever he tried to pick up the ball and then just fumbled it even further. That opportunity, the interception from Robert Spears-Jennings, that would have pretty much been an interception either way if it wasn't for that pass interference. There was another forced fumble that they got down on again in Alabama. That's 6 opportunities to go out there and turn the ball over. And I would even consider a punt return from Satania as almost kind of like a mini turnover. That's a special teams play. Those things are so rare for us this season, and we got so many opportunities of them in this game, and it really catapulted our chance to succeed.
I think that's what has changed and flipped this season is the ability to capitalize on those plays that we've seen, multiple times before this run. OU just being this close to a turnover and not getting it, or just these opportunities, these plays in the margin that just didn't go OU's way are now flipping OU's way. And I think that's a massive credit to the team for just staying the course, staying focused, and, trusted the work. And it's clear that the process, all of that is starting to pan out. And, we've gone from a team where OU almost found every way it could to try to lose games to now flipping that script and being a team that is hard-nosed, tough, resilient, and finding ways to win games in unbelievable, unfathomable circumstances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a side of the argument where we're saying, oh, this team was so miserable in turnover differential. We couldn't get anything at the beginning of the season. There's also a big argument of saying that the teams that we played at the beginning of the season didn't want to put their offenses in positions to get turnovers because of how special this defense is. So the play calling was more conservative. And whenever you go against a team like Alabama, where Ty Simpson only threw 1 interception the whole season before this, you don't think he'd want to be put in those positions. But whenever you're playing this quality of a team and you want to go out there and win a football game emphatically, you're going to have to make some risky plays. And that's whenever you get turned over versus Oklahoma defense.
Yeah, no, I mean, without a doubt, it's it it's incredible, and you got to give Brent Venables a ton of credit, obviously, just for what he has done with everything. And we'll get into the head coaching stuff. Give this is going to be the Brent Venables, like giving Brent Venables his flowers episode. But what he's done defensively the past two games, throwing the kitchen sink at him, throwing some incredible schemes to really just mess with Ty Simpson's head, and you know the Alabama offense. It was truly impeccable. And I think it's clear, one, his move to take over the offense or the defense was the right move, and two, you got to keep that thing going. I don't think hiring a DC is a question in the offseason, if you ask me.
Yeah, how long can he do this? That's
Right.
I keep looking. I'm like, how long can he keep on doing this? Because it does make me worry, Bobby, where you spend all your time and effort making defensive adjustments, and then if you have to put your head coaching hat on, do you start losing that, say, like in a second half adjustment in the future? All I know is coming off buys and coming into big games, Brent comes out and really confuses quarterbacks, really confuses offenses, puts them in bad positions. We've seen it. We saw it in the Michigan game. Now we've seen this Alabama game. We saw it in the Tennessee game. It's really a marvel to show how brilliant of a mind he is defensively.
Yeah, and I think to the credit of some of those head coaching calls, some of those wide sweeping things, you got to give a lot of credit to Kevin Wilson for we obviously aren't in the room. We don't know the inner workings of it all, but it's very clear that Kevin Wilson has a massive impact on some of the associate head coaching sort of things. Was kind of brought in to kind of streamline some of these things that Brent sort of struggled with handling the overall aspect of the offense, and some game position or like positioning plays. And for me, I can just infer some of that improvement has to be Kevin Wilson, and that was a great move bringing him back into the fold for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yep, every little thing is adding up, and we need it. And when it comes down to this offense, we can kind of start talking about that. I said last week on the podcast, and I said it again in our group text together, I said there's no way I thought that this defense alone could win this football game. And truly, I think they did. I think the offense just capitalized on a lot of short fields and a lot of opportunities. I think that Mateer still made some good plays, but I think there's so much more to improve. And we continue to say that all season. And people swing it into a positive, saying, I believe that this offense will continue to get better and better. Then the other side of it is this what we're going to get? Is this going to be an every single week for the rest of the season, Bobby? Or we're going to have to rely on our defense to show us their best, and then the offense kind of, limps across the finish line?
Yeah, I mean, I think to some degree you are what you are at this point. I mean, we only have 2 games left in the season. And you're not going to find any like weapons out of nowhere, that would have shown up already. Although Jermichael Carter, great little game for him. So he had some really clutch catches there. And I think Mateer, especially with how he's processing the game, seeing the field, all that, that's something to work on in spring and come back and be better next time out. Like,
yeah, I think he is where he is right now with he's back to maybe 90% with his wrist, probably.
Yeah. I think the issues with Mateer are, mental, some of that sort of stuff, but it's nothing that time can't fix. He's still a young guy. He's not necessarily bad. He just needs to iron out some of those issues. But, I think this is just kind of a repositioning of expectations with the guy. He's not ready to win a Heisman yet, but that talent, all the stuff we saw early in the season, all of that is real. It just needs to be refined a little bit to have that more consistently. And another year, another year under Arbuckle, another year to get some guys in the portal, figure stuff out like that moving forward. I feel optimistic about this team next year. Obviously plenty of ball left to play, but to me, it's a situation where that's going to have to come next year. He needs more. He needs a little bit more time in the offense. Needs more time in college before making any sort of move. And Jimmy in the comments did bring up Mateer's knee might still be bothering him as well. Who knows on that one? He looks pretty damn.
He's had that knee injury we've been talking about that for 2+ months now.
Yeah.
That'd have to be a pretty significant knee injury if it's still bothering him at this point. I understand he never took rest away from it, but I would hope that's not something you would have to address in the off season, right? So, I mean, that's a lot of optimism there. But I think when it comes down to Mateer, Bobby, you're right. There's a lot of processing things, and I think the defenses have adjusted to it. Like we saw him at the beginning of the season, like he was going all over the place. He was having a lot of fun. He was completely healthy, and he looked amazing, like the Heisman quarterback. And then he's gotten against more strong opponents that he has in his whole career, and got some really damn good scouting people that are looking at his tape, and they're realizing that if they can keep people in the intermediate range with a little bit of a spy, it's making him struggle. And I think that what we can say we're blessed so far is there's about 2 passes in that last game that could have been intercepted that weren't, and we had a turnover-free game from him. And I think for the rest of the season, if we can see turnover-free games from him, I'd feel confident about our ability to win those games.
Yeah. And I think relatively to some degree, and I know the Oklahoma breakdown touched on this as well. The offense does feel a little bit more tepid than usual than what we saw earlier. But if that means you're not turning the ball over, if that means you're not making mistakes or, getting off the field really quick on 3 and outs, or being able to kind of, have some sort of action, but not, I don't know. I feel like to me, that's, if you can allow the defense to win you games, if you're winning games, that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how sustainable that is to make a run or make something like legitimate. Because again, look, the Sooners are 2 wins away from hosting a game in the college football playoff. And
are we sure about hosting?
If they win 2 games, yeah.
Yeah. So do you think they'd be 8 and 7?
8. I feel like 8's the floor without a doubt. 8's the floor. I think you beat Missouri, beat LSU. I think you move up to 7.
Mm-hmm. I
think you're capped by, unless Ole Miss loses in the Egg Bowl, or Texas Tech, trips up to, I guess, West Virginia. If they lost to BYU, that throws a whole other wrench in all of this. But I feel like you're kind of
12 team in. I don't think I don't think they'll put a 1-loss Big 12 team in. That's my opinion.
Well, if they lost to BYU would have to get in.
A 2-loss team.
Yeah, so they would bump Tech out. Yeah, you'd be fine. Yeah, I think OU's going to be fine. If they went out, I think they're hosting. It's 8 or 7, maybe 6, probably 7. But you're capped by where Ole Miss is at, unless they find a way to lose another game. I just don't see that happening, because I don't think they're going to be able to make the SEC championship, as to how things are shaking out. But
yeah, I haven't done enough of the math on all of that stuff because I'm taking that 0-0 mentality, Bobby.
Yes, sir. Stacking days.
Let's talk about more of like the game and things that like where I was like really keying in on the offense. It really does. I think you were saying that the tepidness from the Oklahoma breakdown was talking about with our offense. I think if you're getting it's a slant route from Deion Burks. You're getting an out route with Isaiah Satania. You're getting a curl route with Giovanni Gibson. Those are pretty much the 3 routes you're going to see out there. And that's okay if we can get ourselves with short fields. You're right. But I just noticed, I was like, how many times whenever Giovanni Gibson gets the ball, it's right at the 9 or 10 yard and it's like right on the sideline. I feel like it's every single time. And I'm like, at the beginning of the game, isn't it always Burks across the field? Like it feels like at this point, it was like, how many plays are we calling?
Yeah, it's that's a good point. It is pretty can be a little one note at times.
It clicks in your head whenever you say it out loud, right? You're like, you know what? All those Giovanni Gibson catches kind of seem like the same in my head.
Yeah, maybe Arbuckle's just working off a small sheet here. I don't know, but yeah, it does seem decently similar at times.
Maybe your sheet gets a lot smaller based off the ability of what their offense can do.
Right. Yeah.
We had that conversation all the time last year about our offense because the capability of our wide receivers to get open was so limited that it really limits your play calling.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. But yeah, I mean, the offense was benefited by a short field for most of that. I think the defense was able to really help him out often,
Mhm.
and you feel good that you're able to get out of this. But there were a lot of points left on the board, in short field situations. You're very thankful for Tate Sandell for just being a boss, but OU's going to have to take better opportunities of that. They had a lot of luck bounce their way, but one Taylor Wine blocked field goal, away from losing that game. These games are so tight in the margin that the offense needs to kind of start helping the defense out a little bit. I'm not here to complain. I'm not saying like there's anything wrong with it. You survive and advance. That's what matters.
Mhm.
But if we're going to talk about how this team can advance and going forward, they're going to have to find ways to punch the ball in a little bit more.
And it's all in the run game, really. I think that I've seen what I've seen from the passing game. We've already talked about that a little bit thus far. I think the run game is really what accelerates this offense into something that can be intimidating to other defenses this season. And I think Xavier Robinson was finally that guy with that knee injury in the second half. Whenever he came back with that little sleeve brace on, I was worried about his explosiveness, just like to the eye test of it. I know the whole game he kind of was running a little bit upright and was kind of falling forward and getting shorter gains, but I wasn't really seeing that Xavier Robinson that I was used to. And you get it. Whenever you have a knee injury and you twist your knee, you get a little sprain, you're going to have that. But it does worry me going into Missouri that if we don't have him, do we really believe in our run game moving forward? Because he is the guy who completely shifted everything ever since that Ole Miss game.
Yeah, the wear and tear on him, it's definitely concerning, because I feel like he really has brought a lot of life to the running game aspect. Torrey Blaylock's kind of slowed down a little bit. He's a true freshman, understandable. So you really hope that that's just a tweak and you can get some of that explosiveness back because, outside of him and Blaylock, we've talked about it ad nauseum, a bit questionable.
I don't even know who our RB3 is at this point.
Yeah, who do you roll out there? Because
no,
I'm
not even going to say the names anymore, Bobby. Let's just not even talk about it anymore.
Because Barnes has played 4 games. That feels like a redshirt situation. I don't know anything.
Sawchuk.
What's that?
Gabe Sawchuk.
Yeah, Gabe Sawchuk. We're not even going to mention.
Nope.
The three letter word. We're not mentioning the 3-letter word.
I've been so proud of us as a podcast because we've gone like maybe a month without saying anything about him.
I will say on our drive back, me and my buddy Thomas were talking, and I brought him up, and he looked at me and goes, "It's crazy how much money we're paying that guy." And we just went to a road trip in Alabama, and for how much money we're paying this man, kind of insane that we just now brought him up.
I'm not
after all of this time
bringing him up still in the car, Bobby. How dare you?
It just slipped out. It just happens.
Yeah, but I think really what it comes down to is like a lot of this run game will rely on Xavier Robinson. I think that the way that we've seen things this season is if he goes back in the game, he likely will go out there and play. But is he going to be the productive guy that we think he's going to be? And we're going to figure that out pretty quickly whenever he comes out there first drive of Missouri, all assuming he comes on first drive. But I think you'll be able to tell the way that he cuts the ball and the way he has his explosiveness. It's kind of a sneaky explosiveness, but it does make a big difference because I think that Xavier Robinson near the end of the season is an extremely valuable running back to have because the way that his weight carries and the way that he hits, that every single person on the defense that you're playing is going to be injured or hurt at this point. They're going to be out on the field, but they're going to be hurting. And you do not want to be, I'd rather be tackling Blaylock rather than Robinson coming down the middle.
Yeah, he grinds you down. He makes you, he punishes the defense for sure. So really hope to get him back for sure, especially with Missouri coming up. But
yeah,
any other?
There's a couple of things I wanted to talk about with the offense. I think other than a couple of penalties, I think Fasusi played a really damn good game. I think he's really starting to catch some attention. I think PFF had a post about he didn't have any pressures, I think, that he allowed, I believe
Yeah,
was the stat on it, which is like really damn impressive going against an Alabama defense on the road as a true freshman. Like
unreal.
that, it's like he's still having some freshman boneheaded mistakes. Like he has a couple penalties, but like that's what you're gonna. I want that, and then have all of the advanced statistics look good too.
Yeah,
And the same
but
thing with like EPL too.
but he steps up when the lights are brightest. Like he was great against Michigan at the start of the year, and I like that he's not afraid. You can weed out the other stuff, but
Dude's
um,
a dude, man. And like EPL is playing good too. Like he had that false start that then led to you move back, and then Mateer got the intentional grounding, and then we lost field goal range. And I really thought that 3-point could really hurt us with that. But luckily we don't have to talk about that anymore because that is that is a butterfly effect where if we lose this game by 1 point, I'm talking about that set of plays a lot.
yeah, it was really unfortunate, that little run there. And like you said, it could have really screwed us. And then we would be talking about late game decision making and, an inability to finish things out. And now we don't. So I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, and I want to see a good fourth down play call in these next two games. I do not want to see a baloney go to the short side of the field with either a pitch or a wackadoodle bootleg. Like I need some. Stop running to the short side of the field, please.
I mean, we keep putting it on tape too. It's like it doesn't work. We've done it multiple times. We're not tricking anybody. It's not working.
And I was like, well, I think this was a third down, and this wasn't a fourth down. But I mean, obviously referencing what was it?
Critical down.
The Ole Miss wackadoodle rollout. This I don't know why I keep saying wackadoodle, but I kind of like it. But it's just makes no sense. Like the QB run is what you do, and that's what we've succeeded with. Like, can we just do that? Like, get the running back out, you use them as their lead blocker. Like that has been decent this season. I don't know why we're trying to get too fancy whenever our offense is not the fanciest to begin with. Our offense, Bobby, they are a bunch of guys out there that should be wearing some Old Navy jeans and just a basic white tee. It gets the job done. I don't need to be seeing some designer craziness out there to try to get us on fourth down.
Yeah, you gotta tailor it to the guys we have. They're gritty, they're hard nosed, they're straightforward. They're meat and potatoes. We don't need all this fancy stuff. It's just straightforte.
Yeah.
So
and the way our
I
offensive line's playing, like run behind them. like I've been really proud of them.
Yeah, the O line has really improved, and I think you got to really, give Bill Beanbo an enormous amount of credit for the job he's done, for what he's developed, for how he's added minutes to guys like Eddie Pierre-Louis. Like EPL getting more minutes over time has shown that he's willing to adapt and willing to play freshmen more. With Fasusi and Foje, and it's just I'm impressed with the job Beanbo's done. I think he's done a really good job.
Yeah, I feel like time and time again we see gradual improvement from the room near the end of the season.
Absolutely.
There's not a lot of rooms within our football program that can say that, really. And Beanbo always does it. It's like by the end of the year, you're like, damn, look at this. They're humming. And we were freaking out about them 3 months ago.
Yeah, that's true. I will say overall with penalties, outside of that little stretch, it was really a pretty good game penalty-wise in terms of I didn't feel like there were a lot of ones that you're just pulling your hair out for. There were a couple penalties that were obviously notable and frustrating, but it wasn't like their fault. Like I felt like the Caden Helms situation was a little dodgy.
Yeah.
The pass interference sucked, but I feel like you kind of could have gotten away with that one. But ultimately, I don't think it was as bad as it's been in previous games. So I think they're improving on that front.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree. I think that's really it on the offense from my end, Bobby. It's just good enough. You could really nitpick it, and there's going to be people that are going to freak out about it because you are a pessimistic person that has hate in your heart. Just say, hey, it was good enough, and I'm glad. Let's see how it ends up next game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that, mentality wise, the shirt that everyone was talking about after the hard to kill shirts, obviously that's important, but the back is something that people are talking about less, and I think is more, really emphasizes something. It says enough is enough. And they're talking after the game. I can't remember what player it was or who interviewed him, but they said it's been a phrase Venables has been saying for weeks: is enough is enough. How many times are we going to let other teams, how many times are we going to let other teams beat us on our own field? How many times are we going to make mistakes and screw everything up? Like, enough is enough. No excuses. We got to figure it out. And I think, I mean, yeah, that's the way to approach that. You got to be tough to kill. You can't make it easy to beat Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was,
I think that stuff's been cool, and the can of whoop ass too.
yeah, that was great. That was great. It's been a fun time to be an Oklahoma fan.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been really fun.
Mm-hmm. This is why you love OU football and sports, right here.
Yeah, it's just fun to be proud to be an OU Sooner and win a game like that in the SEC. It's just the best. But speaking of being proud, what a defensive performance! It's truly unreal.
Yeah, can I just get ahead of it and just say game ball goes to Amy Bowen for producing 2 Peyton and Eli to the field? Like, shout out Amy out there for providing 2 wonderful people that just have saved our secondary. Like, Eli, his return to this team has made me feel so much better about this defense, about a defense that I was already saying could be the best defense in the country. And this guy's such a beast. Like, it's unbelievable what he does.
Truly incredible. And we used to, or OU fans used to end, they used to have a pregame invocation, and they used to end it by saying, God bless Mrs. Selman, God bless Mrs. Bowen. And we talked about this before the game, in our preview talk of what, like, if OU is going to win this game, this needs to be the blank game. Like, someone needs to step up and do it. It's the Bowen's game. Both Bowen brothers were unbelievable, but Eli specifically has taken that secondary to another level, and that pick 6 is going to go down in OU lore forever. It was incredible. Dude, and it was a whole team effort. The blocking down the field, catching a block. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, it's as soon as he gets that, I'm like, all right, he's gonna get stopped like he did last year, right? And I was like, oh no, we're gonna get stopped. Like, this offense has not been converting in the red zone, please. And I'm like, oh, thank God. I saw that offensive lineman come up from behind him. There was a half little thought that I was like, oh my God, he's gonna get caught by no lineman. That was so fun. That's like when I was, man. That makes me sad that I wasn't in Tuscaloosa. I was running around having a good time. Felt like I was, like a little kid whenever I was watching that play.
Yeah, man. I hate to give you the FOMO, but it was incredible. I just screaming, block for him, block for him, block for him. And it's, I mean, how those plays go, because you'll see like the kind of cluster of players, and you're like, that's probably where he got him. And then you see him squeak out. You're like, oh my God, he's gonna house this thing.
Yeah. Ty Simpson gave him some little like alligator arms towards him. I was like, yes.
It's great. Well, and the pick kind of happened right in front of us, like the little OU section. So you saw Bowen catch it right there, and then you just got to watch him just tail off, and you could kind of see the pathway there. Mm-hmm. So it was perfect as an OU fan. So
I can't even imagine in like the electricity that those turnovers continue to give this team. As a fan in the stands, like hearing Alabama just go quiet and the Oklahoma fans go crazy, that's like the best feeling in sports, being in enemy territory.
It's pretty damn good. Yeah, the OU section was on fire. It was great, man. And Sooner fans rolled out big time. They traveled massively. It's hard to tell because we all wear the same color, but you could tell like there are a lot of Sooner fans out and about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think those interceptions, we can really give all of this love to the secondary. Really, I mean, like Eli didn't make an amazing play on the INT. I mean, it was like the run back was awesome, but the ball came right to him, right? Right. The continued pressure that Brent Venables was lining up, whether that be from a cornerback, a safety, especially the linebackers and Kip Lewis, it made Ty Simpson go into a place that he was not ready to be. And we thought that this guy was super calm, cool, collected. He, like I said in the last week, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. You can pretty much book that for most of his games. This game, we showed them a little bit something different, a little bit something to make them feel uncomfortable, and it really allowed us a lot of opportunities to succeed and have those plays and get guys out in the field for big turnovers.
Yeah, no, I mean that was a performance to be proud of in what they were able to do. Ty Simpson is as good as it comes quarterback wise. He's calm, he's cool, collected. All those things are true. But when a Brent Venables defense is being thrown at you, yeah, I mean you only see one of those every year because there's only one Brent Venables. Damn it, that sounded a little hokey with the Oklahoma stuff, but still,
put that in one of the intro videos in 15 years.
Yeah, no, but
there's only one Bud.
There's only the thing is yeah, exactly. That's the thing is it's just so it's hard as hell to play against an Oklahoma defense, and the pressure was there, the looks were there. I mean, I've heard stuff like some of the stuff we were dialing up. We're like, yeah, we sit the quarterback, the cornerback who was supposed to be guarding the slot guy. We sent him on a blitz, and you're just dialing up some deranged stuff against Alabama, and you got to give Brent credit. You got to give the players credit for executing, and the physicality of it all. Like, I am proud to be a fan of an Oklahoma team that is physical, that's hard hitting again. Like this, it feels like those OU defenses that we grew up seeing in the early aughts, the early 2000s. It feels like they've returned to that standard, and they're some of the toughest sons of bitches in college football. I'll tell you what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like I think Kip Lewis is just another breed, man. Talk about tough. The way he set the tone at the beginning of the game. Coming in, we're talking blitz. Like this guy's blitz package, he just continues to just change games. And whenever I'm Ty Simpson, first drive I see a linebacker coming right up the middle and hits me. Yeah, that's gonna change me for the rest of the game. And I really think that's what it did.
Yeah, I mean, you wear that affects you. What he had both. He had 2 sacks, 2 of the 4 sacks, which is unreal. Incredible game from Kip Lewis, just awesome.
It's just this guy's such a ball. Like we said, Eli Bone, baller versus Alabama. Kip Lewis, like also another baller versus Alabama. It's like these guys continue to make big plays, and I think when in a game where you're on the road, you need guys who have that in them, and we found our guys. They've done it on multiple occasions.
And another guy. So we forget about all this, great defensive performance, but we forget probably OU's best player was out. Our Mason Thomas, somehow you don't miss him because Taylor Wine was that good.
Mm-hmm. Imagine them on the field at the same time if we can get them back here pretty soon.
Exactly. Wine was unbelievable. The pressure he was putting on Simpson, the fumble, which I didn't think was a fumble.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Look, I was just sitting there like, surely that's not a fumble. Surely that's not a fumble. Oh, and then you see him spot the ball. You're like, oh my God, this isn't getting overturned. It's actually a fumble. It just happened so quick. It was incredible. But yeah, Wine was, and not only that play was incredible. His vertical leap where he just hopped over the line totally legally.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, that takes a pure athlete because he did not get a running start because he played it within the rules and just goes right over him.
And the rules are written, I think, in a way to be like, surely nobody could actually do this. And yeah, I mean, just unbelievable.
People are gonna get their guys now. They're gonna see that. Hopefully, there's a lot of coaching staffs go like, all right, who's got the highest standing vertical on the team? You just do it. Like it's gonna work.
Yeah. As you should. If you can legally do it, do it.
Yeah. If you got people with 40+ inch verticals on your team, you should be doing that almost every time.
Yeah, for sure. I gotta give credit too. So Taylor Wine's family, by far the MVPs of the little parent section. They were going nuts. They were awesome. So shout out to the Wine family. Just a great night for the Wines. But yeah, I mean, defensively, just an incredible performance across the board. I'm just giddy over here. That is one of the best defenses we've ever seen roll through Norman, without a doubt.
Yeah, I feel really damn good about this defense going into the end of the season. Even with our Mason Thomas, like they call it a quad. I've heard hammy. I think even a sideline said calf at one point. I don't know. Maybe I think she just screwed up because I hadn't heard anyone else say calf. But I thought it was hamstring the whole week before, and then it ended up being reported as quad. That changes my mind a little bit. If it's truly quad, that could linger on a little bit more than a hamstring. So I'm really curious to see of how we play him through the last two games because like you said, Bobby, do we want him? Absolutely. Do we need him? Nah, I don't think we need him really to be a really successful defense.
Well, and to be fair, it's one of those things where if you really think you're a playoff team and can finish this thing out, then you want him for that playoff game. That would be what? So these 2 weeks, conference championship weeks, a break, and then the break for Army Navy week. So you can get over a month of rest. Especially when you think so, it'd be like a month and a half out of rest gives you enough time. I don't think you try to rush him back. You don't want to affect his long-term ability, in the NFL, all that sort of stuff. And I think he can handle it. So,
yeah, I think I'm gonna still try to get him out on the field ASAP. I'm not gonna just call it in for Missouri and call it in for LSU. Those are still really damn good football teams, despite what they've done this season.
Of course.
But if he can play, I want him to play. But I think that this is also a situation where if he wants to play, we could still just give him 20 snaps, 15 snaps, get him in on high money downs, and just let him cook rather than kind of give him a lot of opportunities to get a soft tissue injury.
Right. And the guys in the chat, folks in the chat, of course, are also talking about Jane Jackson, who didn't play a lot of snaps and didn't quite look like himself. That obviously is a massive hit, and you really hope to see him get back to full strength.
Yeah, Jaden Jackson, I was kind of keeping a close eye on him because people were saying oh, he got put onto the Wednesday injury report. We didn't see that coming, but he should still play. But then he only goes out and he plays 12 snaps. And you go, I really don't like that. But I mean, like I said, we believe a lot in the guys behind him as well. We've got a really good stable of interior defensive linemen. So if you see him go out there and maybe Jaden Jackson's 70%, maybe our defensive tackle number 2 is his 100% is better than Jaden Jackson's 70. And the coaching staff is mature enough to make that change and say, hey, I know that you're good enough to play Jaden, but I think that probably there's some other people like Marcus Strong or somebody else who's behind him, like Dominic Williams, getting more snaps that might do better than him.
Yeah. The depth is what makes these injuries a little bit easier to take and allows you to sort of slow play things and be a little bit more careful. And I'm with you. I don't think, I think maybe you manage it by going with, smaller snap counts, that sort of stuff, for a guy like him who can play a little bit. But I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they manage that as we go down the stretch because just being up front, it's a team that, we've done a lot of great work. And as OU fans, well, we haven't done work. We just have yapped about the work that they've done. But OU fans OU has done a lot of really, really great work. But the job's not done yet. And you have 2 damn good teams coming to town. One who has a ton of talent in LSU on Thanksgiving weekend, and another one who's ranked ranked top 25, still deadly, as we saw against Mississippi State, can light up the scoreboard a bit with the running game. There's a lot of work to be done still.
Yeah. I think Missouri having Jane Jackson for that run game, Ahmad Hardy is going to be very necessary. And I think that I saw that Jane Jackson's injury was a shoulder. And then that does concern me just a little bit, just because it's the same guy. I don't know what shoulder it is, and I don't know if it's the same shoulder they had labrum surgery on in the offseason. So I would hate that to be some kind of thing where, it's the same shoulder. That could create problems bleeding in for the rest of the season.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see how he goes, and we kind of follow the trend, put it on a plot line and see if he continues to improve each game.
Yeah, for sure. Incredible. Any other thoughts on the defense?
I'm looking at my notes. Just a couple negative things. Owen Heineke's got a lot of energy, but he's made some poor angles and some bust tackling. I really like him a lot, but at the same time, like you'd hope that maybe Kobe McKenzie and Kip Lewis wouldn't have those same mistakes. So I kind of want to see as Kobe gets a little bit healthier, probably a little bit more snaps from him, in my humble opinion. But I think that Heineke will continue to be a great option for great energy. And this is a guy that won SEC Defensive Player of the Week the week before. So, I mean, just another piece where I don't think he's perfect. This is obviously a former walk-on lacrosse player. So he's going to have some of these breaks, but he's going to have some of those plays that turn into a touchdown for our Mason Thomas.
Yep. I certainly agree. Definitely not a strong point in the second half, but it's nothing to be too upset about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was a 2nd and long where he had a play where he was the roaming linebacker and he broke that was thrown to the middle of the field. He broke to the middle and then took a horrible angle and they cut out to the sideline.
Yeah, kind of concrete shoed a little bit there. I know exactly the play.
It was very unfortunate, but I mean, like, players are going to have those breaks, and whenever you have a guy who brings up that much energy to the field and plays at that level, you take a couple of mistakes here and there. So I'm not going to damn him too much for that.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah, I think, like, just to put like a bow on all of this, Bobby, I want to kind of echo the things I've said again, and I said it to you right after the game. It's like, you as an Oklahoma fan right now can look around and see, how am I acting at this? There's some people out there that are probably saying, I may be too nervous about what I saw. It wasn't perfect. The offense wasn't as sexy as I wanted it to be. Or you can kind of hyperfixate on all the things that you're going to want to fix. Right now, what I want to do, and you can choose to follow me, is I feel really damn good that we won 2 road games in the hardest places to play in the country against really damn good teams. And now we're having those conversations where we can be a playoff team, an opportunity that we thought that maybe had a sliver of hope, but that was just the copium of an Oklahoma fan at the beginning of the season. Deep down, the majority of us knew, I don't think so, boss. I don't think so, boss. And now it's like, this is an extreme reality. And I am very, very happy. And I'm not going to let anyone kill my mood on that. And no. I'm very, very happy that I don't think there's a scenario now that we are looking for a new coach this offseason after this game too, which could have absolutely plummeted this team with the way that the coaching carousal looks like right now in college football.
Yeah, no, I think you're dead on. 10-2 is something that I think only the sunniest of sunshine pumpers would have predicted at the start of the year, just being honest with the schedule we have. And the fact that OU went undefeated on the road, 3-0 against South Carolina, Alabama, and Tennessee, is just an incredible credit to the work that has been done in this program from Brent Venables on down. I think there shouldn't be any question, regardless of what happens the rest of the season, I think, about who's the right guy to lead this team, and it's Brent Venables. And I've doubted him myself. I'm not going to say that I haven't had my moments of questioning him, but he has addressed the flaws in this team, in the structure, all of that throughout the season. And you got to give it up to him. That team never quit on Brent, and they fought for him. And I think that's something worth cherishing. Because I think too many times in this sport, you're trying to look for the next thing. You're trying to win now. You're trying to freak out. And, there could have been a chance where OU hit the eject button last season and you're having to do a reset. And this thing might look a lot different and it might look a lot worse. And to me, I think it's just it showed a lot of patience, a lot of maturity to allow this thing to play out. And Brent delivered, I think. Obviously, you got to finish out. The job's not done yet. But this is a team this is a program that I feel fully bought in on for Brent Venables to lead this thing. Because I feel like he will make the adjustments he needs to make. He'll make the tweaks he needs to make. Because that's what's happened so far. we've just improved. We keep getting better. And I mean, the optimism couldn't be higher. I'm thrilled with what's happened. It hasn't been pretty, but I would rather win ugly than lose pretty.
Yep. It doesn't matter how you win, really, at this point.
Not in the SEC.
With the CFP committee, I don't know. But at the same time, it feels pretty damn good.
Yeah, and I'll say this too. It shuts down every dumbass question about use the new Nebraska. They can't cut it in the SEC. Well, yeah, no, they are SEC ready. This is a program that operates and could clearly swim in those waters with every single SEC program that has been in existence, and they fit into this culture. They fit into the culture. They fit in with the other fan bases. They fit in with the atmosphere. Without a doubt, Oklahoma belongs in the SEC. I think that has become evidently clear. So
I think that if you would have said that to me last week versus Tennessee, I'd have been like, I agree with you. That statement makes complete sense. There are going to be haters out there that say, wait till they play Alabama. Where the haters at now, honestly. Like we've conquered.
Yeah. I mean, look, Tennessee can't go into Tuscaloosa and win. It's hard to do that. It is hard for everybody to do that. And it's something to be proud of. It is something to be proud of. And I mean, I could not be more proud of OU. It was a great win. Great for the self-esteem for sure. I gotta say, a little thought on before we kind of move on to some atmosphere stuff. Gotta give a shout out to Tate Sandell. What a boss, man! That's one of the best kickers we've ever had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whenever you have a kicker with that much confidence, that's when you know you've got it. Like that is the position on the field, probably I'd say number 2 that needs the most confidence out of any player. And he's just got it, man. Like I'm not concerned about any 50-yard field goal with him anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean it's bizarre to be like, 52, Tate's got this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's only missed one field goal the entire season. He's perfect on extra points. He should win the Lou. He should absolutely win the Lou Groza Award.
I don't see any scenario where he doesn't at this point, Bobby. Yeah. Just because like these awards and these voters need some kind of story, and the whole Kirk Herbstreit thing, I think was the story, and he continues to do it. And the way he's cut his pants off, I think I don't know if there's going to be enough kickers out there to get votes other than him.
Well, Jameson, you got the Tokyo Toe out in Hawaii.
That's true. Yeah, but that story has been 3 months old now. So
yeah, no, Tate's doing it at the highest level, Neyland Stadium. Like, sure, can you do it in front of 4 people at San Diego State? Maybe. Can you do it at Neyland? Let's see a try. So
Johnny wants you to put on the Daisy Dukes if he wins the Groza. I'm all for that. I've got a nice pair of jorts that, we always make jokes about it that are all the way back from high school. It's the Always Sunny in Philadelphia meme where it's like, can you go all the way down? Yeah, maybe I can go real low.
If he wins the Groza, I'll put on the Daisy Dukes. I will absolutely do that. I don't know why any of y'all want to see that.
You want a Bobby lower body podcast.
There is. I'll get like a standing desk. It'll be great. There's one person who probably wants to see that. I think that's my wife, and that's it. But outside of that, I don't think anybody wants that.
So. That was a really sweet shout out to your wife. But
yeah, she's great. She actually would like that.
My wife would not want to see me in my jorts ever again, but I would love to see myself in it. And so that's the difference in partners that we have.
He craves the breathability of the jorts. No, I mean, overall special teams was great. The Ryan Williams fumble, excellent. The return from Satania. So yeah, they just were great in that aspect of the field, and I'm just super pumped for them.
Feels good to win the momentum game.
Yep, but so atmosphere. Tuscaloosa, I thought was a pretty cool town. I thought it was nice. It's homecoming. Saw the little homecoming parade. Everything about the campus felt like if you could paint a picture of or if you like ask Chat GPT or AI, like show me a standard like SEC campus, or what do you have in your brain as like a SEC like college campus? It's that. It was like idyllic. The columns and everything, like the Greek houses being like right next to the stadium was wild. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
Like I'm talking like I mean all of them were a stone's throw away. Like imagine Gaylord. Imagine having like I don't know, like Beta being at where like Gaylord College is.
The tailgates would be unbelievable.
Yeah, it was crazy. Well, in their tailgates, like they just had like a giant yard where each house had a little band playing in front of it. It was insane. The little strip they had was pretty cool. Of all the bars, all that, I thought that was neat. I tried a yellow hammer from Galette's. That's like their iconic drink. I think you would like it.
I saw so many people posting them.
Oh yeah, no, the Galette, yeah. I think our buddy or one of our mutual friends was at Galette's. I got the invite too late, but all of the bars had kind of crazy covers, so I didn't go to it. It was
Covers,
like Galette's had like a $40 cover.
No way.
I know.
For Alabama fans too.
Yeah, no, for Alabama fans, like this was a whole deal, like in the planning process. Apparently for big games, it will like rise and like has gotten up to like $100 before for a cover.
Jesus Christ!
I know, that's insane.
You can do that, and people will still do it. But that's just wild, man.
We found a nice little Irish pub on the strip called Egon's, though. It was great.
Man, that just gives me anxiety. I would have gotten really angry if I couldn't drink an iconic drink because I had to pay a $40 covers. What's the % chance I'd have paid that cover, Bobby?
0. Oh, you would hate that. You would boycott them out of spite. But you could get them in the stadium, which was cool. So
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, the only problem, they ran out of cups like right before I got mine. I was sad about that.
Oh yeah.
But in terms of stadium atmosphere, it was fine. I would best compare it to like just kind of like a big OU, where it's like kind of everyone's kind of excited. It's not crazy or like rabid. It's just like everyone's just loud at the times it's supposed to be loud. Any comparison to Tennessee though, Neyland blew it out of the water.
Yeah, no. I don't envision that in my head. Like a Tennessee fan's makeup is way different than an Alabama fan's makeup. I mean, if you talk about stereotypes, like I feel like Alabama fans' makeup is your middle-aged man who's still wearing his frat gear from 20 years beyond. Like, and a Tennessee fan is like, I do not want to be in a dark alley with a Tennessee fan.
No, well, and the Tennessee fans are like, they were actually way nicer. Like they were friendlier. I felt like, there's just something different about the Tennessee fans, the Tennessee experience. And, I'm not even talking about the ones I knew. It's just like everybody, like everyone was a little bit warmer, just a little bit more hospitality. I don't know. The Alabama fans just didn't have that same kind of warmth.
So maybe some more hot and cold from Tennessee. They're hot when they're hot and they're cold when they're cold. But Alabama is just kind of there, just, kind of maybe like the upper deck suite club level fans of Oklahoma.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah. They've seen so much winning too. I mean, it's like their intro videos and stuff. When you like really take all of it into account, you're like, my God, man, that's insane. So I do kind of get it. You can be a little bit jaded to a point. They haven't lost. I mean, before that, they haven't lost a game in 17 games. Their last loss was Texas to like the Quinn Ewers Texas team. So like, it's obviously been a while, but I will say Dixieland Delight was unfreaking real. They nailed that.
You played it at a pretty fun part of the game for you too.
I didn't know they did it. I thought they did it between the third and fourth, and I think they used to. But them dropping it at 2-minute timeout when Alabama was on that last drive, it was just like, oh my God, it's.
You thought it was over after that. If I would have been in the stadium, I'd be like, there's just too much juju going on right now.
It was crazy, man. It was like, I don't know if I was like, oh, I think it's over, but it was one of those like, you know what? I'm glad we're here. Let's go do this damn thing. You know? it kind of fired me up.
Mhm.
But it was special. So yeah, shout out Alabama. Cool trip, definitely worthwhile. Yeah, no, it was awesome. So shout out to Dreamland Barbecue, solid ribs. Um, Lord King, big nuts, brought up 22 years of homecoming wins snapped by OU. Jameson, do you know the last time Alabama lost a homecoming game?
22 years ago.
But do you know who it was? Who they lost to?
I think they said it on the TV broadcast, actually. I don't recall.
Nick Saban's LSU team, and
Yeah, that's what it was.
so yeah, quite a while. And also, thanks for the donation. Sorry about the Kindle's chicken fry challenge going awry. 60% is not bad. If you've ever seen this thing, it's absurd. Like that's honestly like 60% is impressive. The challenge is absurd and almost like impossible to do. I don't know how anyone can do it.
Mm-hmm. So, anything left on Alabama, or should we talk about Missouri?
I think we're just about done with Bama. Great game, great win. It'll forever be one of the best OU moments of all time. And it's hilarious that we're apparently their boogeyman.
I love that. I love that. 2-year, like end of 2 right now in the SEC, but like you can even go back to 2014 too. So like,
yeah,
it's pretty good.
You can go back to all time. They've never beaten OU outside of this city of Miami.
Well, I was about to say, but that Miami game.
Like, oh yeah, no,
not good.
They beat us in the Kyler Murray game.
That one was
and
bad.
They beat us in the '60s, where John F. Kennedy saw us lose to Alabama and Joe Namath. So it's not. So I mean, like, yeah,
we can be their boogeyman, but God, that Tua game was so bad. That was so bad.
Yeah. The first couple minutes of that were not fun. It was not fun. Yeah, but let's move on to Mizzou. Stack days, back to 0-0, Jameson. Rumor has it Bo Pribula might give it a go.
No, I was this roller coaster of like, I think Matt Zollers is better than Bo Pribula. And then I texted y'all in the first quarter of the game and I was like, he is not better than Bo Pribula. This guy's not better. I was thinking deep down, I was like, oh man, we could really give this freshman quarterback some problems. Like it's the tapes out, like, Mississippi State's giving him some problems. Bo Pribula's good. He's good. But I do wonder, this was a pretty significant ankle injury he had. And this is a guy that really relies a lot on his athleticism and ability to get out of the pocket. If I don't think that you're probably 100%. And if he's a little bit less, this defense is going to be a team that's going to make him second guess a lot. And we just talked about that all the time in this podcast about second guessing and getting out of your comfort zone is how you fail as a quarterback. And this defense will make him feel uncomfortable. So I don't think it's the end of the world to see Bo Pribula playing at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, what was one of the things we talked about when John Mateer was questionable for the Texas game is, do you want a hobbled John Mateer out there? Like, how much can he give you? And if you're going to be limited, especially, Pribula obviously isn't the world's most mobile quarterback, but if you're dealing with an ankle sprain, it limits your ability to really be mobile in a pocket where you really need to be mobile because OU's going to send the kitchen sink at you. So I don't know if that's the worst thing in the world to see him play, but I think regardless, Pribula or Zollers, I think you have to feel not horrified going up against them. Mm-hmm. Probably because you just put Ty Simpson in a pretzel the week before.
And Pribula, this dude dislocated his ankle. He dislocated it, and he's coming back now, 3-ish weeks after that? I understand, like, you dislocate your ankle the majority of the times you're fracturing it, and he didn't fracture it. Good for him. You dislocate your ankle and you come back, that takes a special someone to just get onto the field and be mentally ready, not even physically ready. Those ligaments are going to be a little bit stretchy and a little bit sore, but mentally ready after your ankle was dislocated, I still feel pretty good about, our defense versus the quarterback for Missouri. I think that our concerns on the defensive end is going to be focused more to the backfield.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. No doubt the backfield aspect of it. They have one of the best backs in the country. This is a real strength on strength situation. And I know a lot of our conversation last week, or some of Pate's conversation last week, was like Alabama doesn't need to run the ball because they know they can't run the ball, so it doesn't really impact anything. But this is strength on strength. So it's going to be interesting to see the irresistible force versus the immovable object. That is going to be probably the storyline of this week.
Yeah. Ahmad Hardy is an absolute baller, man. Ran for 300 freaking yards last week. That is just unbelievable. I understand it's Mississippi State, but 300 yards is just ridiculous. And he continues to just look really damn good throughout the year. He has these big plays that can just completely break open games, and that's a huge thing for us, is keeping him in front of us. We cannot let him break out. Like for example, in the Michigan game, we had one play, 75 yards, that could have really broken us. It didn't, but I'm really glad Justice Haynes had 0 plays other than that really looked good. We've shown ourselves this season to go out there and make really damn good running backs not look as good. As long as we can stay away from the chunk plays, I feel good about our ability versus Hardy.
Yeah. And they held a really good Tennessee rushing game to, nothing. So, I mean, I'm not saying like, oh my God, OU's going to shut them down, but they do have a good record. It is possible. And he's going.
Lacey was like nothing either. I think he averaged under 3 yards a carry in that game too, which
he had a couple breakouts.
Yeah,
but still. Well, his best play was, I think, a pass. I think it was like kind of in the screen, but yeah, I mean, he wasn't remarkable. Like
Lacey for Ole Miss.
Yeah,
I mean, he had 2 on the ground. He didn't have any in the air, but he was 27-78 versus a really damn good running back too. I mean, I'm just trying to think of like other running backs we played. I don't think there's anyone that I feel like who's just sliced us up. It's more been just a little bit of combination, more so the passing game.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially with Trinidad. Trinidad sliced up our defense through the air.
Yeah, and that ain't Prabula. That ain't Prabula for sure.
No.
Anything you see outside of that? Their receiving core does it jump off the page to you?
I don't think there's really too much air we need to put into that. I think that they got some guys that are all right, but obviously they lost a lot of talent from last year. I think really what it comes down to, and Jimmy said it in the chat too, it's like it really starts in with their run game and it ends with their run game. I think their run game will open up their pass game, and if we don't allow them to get there and we get them in bad positions, I think that we can really succeed.
Yep, absolutely. And I think it's gonna be interesting to see OU's offense, what they can get, against Missouri's defense. I don't know. How do you feel about that unit, the Mizzou defense?
I think they're a really damn good unit. I think that they go out there and they've given a lot of people problems. I will say, like, if you look at the game last week and you're a box score looker and you say, oh yeah, Mississippi State put up 27 versus them, like that's not good. But if you just had the eye test in that game, Missouri handled them on the defensive end. Like they're putting Blake Shapen in a lot of bad positions, making him make turnovers. He wasn't getting a lot of those big chunk plays that really allow him to go out there. And I mean, he had a couple of big plays like Thompson and Evans, but for the most part, I feel like he looked very, very uncomfortable. I think the Missouri defense will give our offense some fits, and we're going to be put in situations where we're going to have some 3 and outs, and we're going to get really antsy as a fan base. I hate to say it, Bobby, but I think that there's a very large scenario where we're just going to need short fields again and let this defense control the compass for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and you can't rely on turnovers. And I know he said that last week where we're like, you're not going to get 3 takeaways against Alabama, and we got them and we won. But they're going to have to. The offense is just going to have to be better because you can't rely on that. If you get lucky again and get 3, that's great. But that's just going to pass the buck to the next week against LSU. And ultimately, you just kind of need to see a little bit more out of it. But, you're at home, not dealing with a crazy environment. I think you can pull it off. So,
yeah.
And
I think that sorry, Bobby.
no,
I
you
think
got it.
some big players to kind of keep your eye on in this game. Damon Wilson for them is an absolute baller in the end. And then maybe a familiar name in Jalen Catalon. That this is a guy that has been around town for a little bit. Now ended up in Missouri. He's Arkansas former guy. This guy can really change games. I really like the way that he's been playing this season.
All right, heard. Oh, there you go. So I'm intrigued to see how this game pans out. I thought it was a last year tough loss, brutal, probably one of the more like you got to be kidding me losses we had. So
Oh,
OU owes them back.
the epitome of you got to be kidding me. That game was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was horrible. OU owes them one. The Missouri fans, as people know, could be a bit chatty on the internet and feel a certain way about Oklahoma, and Oklahoma fans feel a certain way about them. I don't think it's quite a rivalry by any means. I don't think we would use that word, but I think there's beef. The beef is sizzling a little bit.
Yeah, I will say that the beef is not as bad as it was a year ago, which is maybe unfortunate for Oklahoma fans right now. But I guarantee you, as this week progresses, it's gonna, like you said, it's gonna start to sizzle a little bit more. Some of those scars that we thought healed a little bit, like like the Caden Green scars and stuff like that, where the fans are going buck wild. I think that we'll start to find some anger back in our souls here come Wednesday, Thursday.
Without a doubt. And Drinkowitz is always good for a quote or two, of course.
There we go. It's starting to come back. You said Drinkowitz's name. All right. My fire level is at around a 4 right now, Bobby. Keep going.
Native son, Eli Drinkowitz, Norman, Oklahoma, born in Norman, coming home, technically. So that's going to be, he's going to say something. It's going to spark it. It's definitely going to happen. But OU fans have to bring that energy on Saturday, no doubt. It's at 11 a.m. I get it. And I think they will. I mean, after those 2 wins, welcoming OU back after that, it's going to be a crazy environment if you lock in on this, because there's work to be done, and the fan base, we got to crank that up to a next level.
Mm-hmm. Have you looked at the spread yet?
Yeah, I caught it when we were going through Louisiana on the drive over. I looked at it at like 9.5, and that felt high,
doesn't it? It opened at 7.5. Is at 9.5? That's wild. I mean, honestly, the play on that would be the under. if we're covering that, I think we hit the under.
Yeah, we've got the weekend spread, coming up on Wednesday, so no spoilers. But I actually don't love OU for 9.5, so we'll see what happens with that line. I just don't think OU wins games like that,
And we've picked against OU the past 2 weeks, so screw it. Let's keep doing it.
Yeah, look, it's worked out so far. It's worked out so far. I'm a big believer in repeating that. We tried to repeat a lot of stuff from the Tennessee trip. Like, we got the exact same beef jerky at Buc-ee's. We went to Waffle House on Saturday morning. We've tried to carry things over. So, maybe part of that is fading the Sooners on Wednesday, so they can pull it together and win on Saturday. So,
thank you for giving yourself to the Sooners and allowing us to have this opportunity.
There you go. That's funny. Any final thoughts on? Well, not final, because we'll talk about it a little bit more, I'm sure, on the weekend spread and everything. Any final thoughts on Mizzou?
No, it's a game I'm excited for. I think this is a game where you could see utter dominance. You could truly see dominance in this game, or you could see another one that's going to give you a lot of anxiety. So, but I still feel confident as an Oklahoma fan.
Yeah. Regardless, just win. Keep Red November going. Get another win, and you're one game away from sealing the deal, and the college football playoff. You're sealing the deal for a home game on Owen Field. And we ain't ready to talk about that part yet.
And I'll be in Norman for LSU, so that makes that game even more fun. I'm so excited. That's the game I get to go to.
Oh yeah, no, LSU is gonna be great. I really hope they pick pick up LSU as a night game for that one too. By the way,
yeah.
So got that in the Iron Bowl to sort of figure out. So I'm interested.
It's 11 a.m. for this week, right?
Yeah, 11 a.m. is locked in for Missouri. but that last game, we should know a little bit more tomorrow on Monday, but we'll see. So I'm hoping for a night game. We've only had 2 night games. One was Illinois State, one was Michigan. So, yeah. All right. Well, that is all we have for today on the Weekend Spread. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this show, make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube or follow us on your favorite place to listen to podcasts. We will be back on Wednesday to make our picks for across college football on the Weekend Spread. But until then, enjoy the victory. Have a great one. And Boomer Sooner, everybody.